This is CBS News Philadelphia.
If I was home, I don't think I would be here. I mean, there was just it was just flattened.
A tornado tears through 14 miles of Delaware, destroying homes and causing widespread damage. Tonight, residents are picking up the pieces. Good evening, I'm Aziza Shuler. Tornadoes have been confirmed or suspected in 11 states since Friday as that powerful storm moved east. It produced 5 tornadoes in our area yesterday. 4 were in New Jersey, 1 went through Cinnaminson, Delran, and Morristown. The National Weather Service says this was an EF1 on a scale of 0 to 5. Winds hit 100 miles per hour. The storm uprooted trees, wiped out fences, and knocked out electricity. Crews were out today assessing the damage while residents started cleanup efforts.
Really rapidly switched to like high winds, and we saw things blowing around on our back deck.
It's always scary because weather is unpredictable and you're not in control.
Thank God for neighbors and everybody pitching in and helping.
Everyone's okay, and that's what matters.
The National Weather Service says tornadoes were also confirmed in Howell Township, Jackson, and Seagert. A tornado also struck in Sussex County, Delaware, killing 1 person. Our chopper flew over the path of destruction. Madeleine Wright spoke to a woman who lost her house.
You never expect to go through something like this. You never expect to walk out of your door and it's just barely raining, and then a few hours later, there is no front door anymore.
Stacy Warrington was having dinner with friends Saturday night when she got a frantic call from her neighbor.
She said, "Honey, you got to get home right now." She said, "Your house is gone." She said, "There's nothing left but your truck." And I said, "Yeah, okay, it's April Fool's. Like, April Fool's."
But it wasn't a joke. Warrington's house on Fawn Road was one of 3 dozen homes destroyed or damaged in Sussex County.
If I was home, I don't think I would be here. I mean, there was just it was just flattened all the way across.
Governor John Carney toured Warrington's house and a facility run by the Delaware Department of Transportation, where the damage is estimated at $5 million. The governor confirms 1 man was killed in a house that collapsed, the first tornado death in the state since 1983.
We're really incredibly lucky. Lucky that more lives weren't lost.
The state is working to get assistance from FEMA and help residents who have been forced from their homes. As for Warrington, she's staying with her parents till she gets back on her feet. Residents now left to salvage what they can from this tangled mess. In Greenwood, Madeleine Wright, CBS News, Philadelphia.
President Biden tweeted that he and the First Lady are praying for those impacted by yesterday's deadly storms. He adds that he's been in contact with officials in states that saw widespread destruction, including Governor Carney. The president is offering his administration's help with recovery efforts. It was a much different day today. We started off chilly but sunny, and our temperatures are dropping again. If you were out tonight, you might have wanted to grab your coat. Mostly everyone we saw in Rittenhouse Square definitely did. It's cooling down so much, we have a frost advisory in place. Meteorologist Andrew Kozak is here to break it all down for us. Hey, Andrew.
Yeah, from one extreme to the other, Aziza. We were in the 70s yesterday before the storms hit for many of you. Tonight, we're talking frost advisories and even freeze warnings for parts of the area. Clear to partly cloudy skies right now. Philadelphia, you are looking A-okay. It is a little chilly out there, but after the weather that we saw yesterday, it's nice and calm. From the city to the Jersey Shore, where we had a few high clouds a little earlier on, to upstate areas like Pennsylvania up toward Carbon and Monroe counties and inland a little further west, we're looking pretty good. Our next weather maker not into the middle toward the end of the week ahead. Right now, though, it is a system that is providing severe weather to areas like Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Back here at home, 43 in Philadelphia, 40 in Trenton. We're at 41 in Reading, Wilmington 44, Wildwood at 38 degrees. Now, over the course of the next few hours, we're going to be looking at clear skies, partly cloudy by the morning. We'll have a nice sunrise. It'll look kind of like this background picture here. Temperatures in the low 30s in the city. We could be in the upper 20s up toward the suburbs, especially the further north you go. We'll be solid in the 50s by noon. And guess what? We're headed for highs tomorrow well into the 60s. So a nice recovery. Overnight and into the early part of your Monday, 34, partly cloudy, frost advisories, freeze warnings. warnings. Northwest winds at 10 to 20. What's next as we head into the new week? We'll go over the chill tonight. I'll show you the map of where the frost and freeze advisories are. Back to the 70s this week. In fact, one or two of you might even get close to 80 degrees. We'll talk about that and, of course, track your next chance of storms with your 7-day plan. Stay with us. Your forecast is on its way.
And thank you, Andrew. Just a reminder, when we're not on TV, you can always check us online for that weather, track live radar, and get your forecast and more. Just go to cbsphiladelphia.com/weather. The cleanup has begun in the South and Midwest after that powerful storm system caused widespread damage. President Biden has issued a major disaster declaration for Arkansas as FEMA officials prepare to survey the damage. Little Rock's mayor says that more than 2,500 buildings were impacted. The governor of Arkansas called the damage unbelievably tragic, but vowed to rebuild.
No matter what challenges we face, nothing is going to destroy us. Nothing is going to bring us down. If anything, we will come back better and stronger.
There were more than 50 tornado reports in at least 7 states Friday night. At least 32 people have died. Strong winds brought down power lines in North Philadelphia, causing several cars to catch fire. Crews were called to North 24th Street just after midnight. They had the fires under control in 20 minutes. One home was evacuated as a precaution. Fortunately, there were no injuries. An unruly mob vandalized 3 police cars in 2 incidents early this morning. They happened in the Fishtown and Spring Garden neighborhoods. Our Alicia Roberts is learning more about what the crowd had planned as officers radioed for help.
I'm out here at Ground Zero, surrounded by hundreds of vehicles.
Philadelphia police radio calls around 12:30 Sunday morning detail the danger unfolding for officers.
Jumping on cars, smashing out car windows.
As a lawless crowd first gathered outside the Target and Yards Brewing parking lot on 6th Street in Spring Garden. Video shows some of the participants jumping on top of police vehicles. One car was damaged.
These guys were slashing tires on police vehicles earlier.
2 hours later, 2 more police vehicles were also damaged after several hundred vehicles gathered near Rivers Casino in Fishtown. Police reports also say dirt bike riders joined up with the mob here at Frankford Avenue, blocking the casino entrance behind me and doing donuts up and down the riverfront.
Be advised, though, there's going to be 100 four-wheelers and dirt bikes headed in that direction as well.
CBS News Philadelphia has obtained the social media invite titled Act a Fool, encouraging people to meet up and roll out by 10:30 Saturday night. Similar swarms have taken over city streets in recent weeks, including back on Saturday, March 13th, when this truck could be seen circling the intersection of 23rd and Spring Garden streets. Jan Matthews heard the crowd from this latest incident.
Around Oxford Circle, I could hear them going around for about half hour.
Matthews fears with the nicer weather coming, this type of behavior is only going to get worse.
I think they own the streets all the time, not only on the weekends. I think the parents need to change. They need to know where their kids are. And if it's adults out there doing it, then they need to be caught and prosecuted.
No officers were injured. Police are currently working to identify those responsible. So far, no arrests have been made. Alicia Roberts, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Thank you, Alicia. Some students in Burlington County will be learning in the classroom again tomorrow after a fire displaced them from their school. Life Center Academy students will learn at the former Sidney Bookbinder Elementary School building. Their school had to close after a fire at the Fountain of Life Center Church on March 20th. Tomorrow morning, students and staff will be welcomed by officials. Today, Christians around the world marked the start of Holy Week. At the Vatican, Pope Francis presided over Palm Sunday Mass 1 day after being released from a hospital. Thousands waved palm and olive branches as he entered St. Peter's Square. The pontiff delivered a special sermon and urged the world to care for those who have been abandoned. Yesterday, the 86-year-old went home after a severe bout of bronchitis. He thanked everyone who had given him prayers and well wishes. Here at home, Philadelphia Archbishop Nelson Perez led Mass at the Cathedral Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul. He welcomed the faithful from throughout our region. Meanwhile, in Delaware, President Biden came home to attend a Palm Sunday Mass at his Catholic church in Wilmington. Christians commemorate Palm Sunday for Jesus Christ's final entrance into Jerusalem before his death and resurrection. Still ahead tonight, Senator John Fetterman opens up to CBS Sunday Mornings about his battle with depression.
I had stopped leaving my bed. I've stopped eating, dropping weight. I stopped engaging some of the most things that I love in my life.
Next, how the senator says the November election and his big win changed his life. Plus, former President Trump gets ready to turn himself into authorities this week in New York. What to expect on Tuesday coming up. And a reminder, you can find our CBS News Philadelphia stream through the CBS News or Pluto TV apps or by scanning the QR code right there on your screen. We'll see you soon. A well-known Russian military blogger was killed today in an explosion at a St. Petersburg cafe. Russia's Interior Ministry confirmed that the man died in the blast. He supported the invasion of Ukraine but had been critical of Russia's setbacks in the war. More than 24 others were reportedly injured in the explosion. New details are emerging about how former President Donald Trump will surrender to authorities in New York City to face criminal charges this week. As we've been reporting, a grand jury has indicted Trump. Law enforcement sources tell CBS News that he's likely to fly into LaGuardia Airport on his private plane tomorrow. On Tuesday, he will appear in court for his arraignment. That's when the historic indictment will be unsealed and read in court. Trump will enter a plea.
We will very loudly and proudly say not guilty. Somehow, a state prosecutor has taken a misdemeanor and tried cobbled together to make it a felony by alleging a violation of federal campaign violation.
A source tells CBS News that Trump will likely be charged with falsifying business records to hide his campaign finance violations. It's tied to payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Trump was seen in public today. He left his Florida golf course near Mar-a-Lago. Trump gave a thumbs up to dozens of supporters as they cheered and waved flags. He plans to speak to reporters at Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday night. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman is opening up about his depression. It landed him in the hospital for 6 weeks. On CBS's Sunday Morning, Fetterman said he became disinterested in life after winning the Senate race in November.
You just won the biggest, race in the country. And the whole thing about depression is that objectively you may have won, but depression can absolutely convince you that you actually lost. And that's exactly what happened. And that was the start of a downward spiral.
Yeah, this interview was recorded 2 weeks ago while Fetterman was still a patient at Walter Reed Medical Center. He was released from the hospital on Friday. A community effort took place today to boost morale for American service members overseas. Volunteers at a flower shop in Medford to help with donations. They called it Operation Integrity. About 5 school buses were loaded with care packages.
The care packages we like to call hug in a box, and therefore are deployed, and they're comforts from home that they can't get when they're abroad. It could be something as simple as a toothbrush or some beef jerky or even a tasty cake.
And some local Girl Scouts even stopped by with boxes of cookies for the troops. Taking a live look now at Center City. It's a clear and quiet night, but it's definitely going to get colder soon. Andrew is back with another check of your forecast.
Yeah, I mean, it's already starting to chill off, and you got to think about the fact that before all the severe storms came through yesterday, we were in the 70s.
We're supposed to be in spring.
Well, we will. In fact, it could feel closer to summer for some of us this week.
Oh, that's going to be lovely.
It's going to be nice. There may be a couple little bumps in the road, but it's weather.
Yeah,
it always has to be.
It's never perfect.
It's never going to be smooth, but we got you covered. Let's walk over to the wall, show you what's happening out there. Look at all the boats. Speaking of spring, getting out there, I'm sure now the winterization's over and everybody's getting ready, getting antsy to get out on the water. We got a little bit of time to go, especially when we talk about our first graphic tonight as we transition over to the large screen here, and that is a frost advisory and freeze warning for some of you. I know we're talking about warm temperatures, right? But tonight, not so much. In fact, the city of Philadelphia itself, much of South Jersey, the shore, and Delaware underneath a frost advisory through 9 a.m. in the morning. What this means is that if you have any sensitive plants, especially those early spring ones you may have put out there, if you can cover them, run outside and do it if you can, or bring them in, great. Don't forget the pets either. They need to be inside. Also, for some of those counties in darker blue, just to our east, is across central Jersey, up toward areas like Reading, we have a freeze warning in effect. Temperatures will dip to 32 or below by early Monday morning. Here's where we ended up for high temperatures. 52 in Philadelphia, 55 in Atlantic City, Millville, and Wilmington. Lancaster made it to 52. Remember, yesterday we were about 20 degrees warmer than that. As of the current time, it is 11:19, and we are not looking at much at all. Skies are clearing out, drying up. Of course, we had a few high clouds later on in the evening across South Jersey, but those are pretty much done. And now everybody's pretty much in the clear. We are looking, though, at our next weather maker, and it's a pretty powerful front, once again giving severe weather to areas like Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, where we saw several very major tornadoes just this past weekend. Of course, this is one area that doesn't need any more severe weather. We're going to continue to watch that storm system move a little closer to us and kind of take its time getting here by Wednesday into Thursday. Right now, temperatures in the 30s and 40s will be about 35 degrees for you real early risers at 5 a.m. We'll dip down around 34 in the city and then springboard back into the 40s by 8, 11 a.m. 53. So we'll already be back above where we were today before lunchtime. So Monday morning looks good. We have a warm front that will be lifting up. That's going to significantly increase our winds. So the morning hours not windy. By the afternoon, you're going to notice that breeze. South winds at around 10 to 25, gusts over 30. By the end of the day on Monday, we'll have a few more clouds in play, but overall, we'll be dry. Take a look at those winds. Again, right now through the overnight, we're fine. But once we get to about midday, they increase significantly. 10, 20, 30 mile per hour gusts from the south. That helps to transport up that warmer air. We call that warm air advection. Putting it all in perspective, we're in the 60s and 70s for a good portion of this week. Here's a look at the 7-day plan. 74 on Tuesday, 64, by the way, on Monday, 75 Wednesday. Now, we could have a couple of late day showers Wednesday, but Thursday, I'm going to keep my eyes really on that day for thunderstorms. And while it's too early to say if it's going to be a next weather alert day for severe weather, just keep Thursday in mind. It could be busy. We'll keep our eyes on that. By Friday, we're transitioning back into the 60s, and while it's a little cooler over the weekend, we're back to mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies.
All right, and Easter is next Sunday, but some got a head start on the holiday today in Burlington County. There was an egg hunt this morning in West Hampton for families of children with disabilities. It was a sensory-friendly event, and the goal was to include all children in Easter activities. Burlington County Commissioners, the Sheriff's Office, and the county's Special Services School District hosted the event. The Eagles held their annual Huddle for Autism event today at the Link. Activities were designed specifically for people on the autism spectrum. Kids got a chance to play on the field, the same one as some of the pros. Current Eagles Jordan Mailata and Sean Bradley signed autographs along with former Eagles linebacker William Thomas. The event was held in recognition of Autism Awareness Month.
Knowing that we're providing such a great day for families, opening our doors, opening our hearts, and really creating that accessibility, but doing it in a way to raise money that's going to support them in the future is just incredible.
5,000 tickets were sold for today's event. The proceeds go to the Center for Autism Research at Children's Hospital. All right, well, since we're on the Eagles, let's pass it over to Pat Gallen with sports.
Let's do it. Yeah, the Phillies were looking to avoid a sweep by the Rangers. They'll need to look a little harder. And the Sixers on the road against a tough opponent that was looking to make a statement. Highlights from Milwaukee next in sports. The Sixers are coming off a big win over the Raptors on Friday night. Their opponent, the Bucks, just got blown out by the Celtics by 41 on their home court. They were out to make a statement tonight, and they did. James Harden, bad pass. Drew Holiday, the steal on the break. Giannis, the throwdown. Bucks up big in the second. Sixers clawing back to within 4 right here. It's Joel Embiid. Who else with the short jumper? Makes it 77-73. He had 28 points. Then Tyrese Maxey trying to keep the Sixers close with that step back. He puts up 29, 6 3-pointers. but it just wasn't enough. Milwaukee is the best in the East for a reason, because of this guy, Giannis Antetokounmpo. The spin, the slam, 33 points, 14 boards for the Greek Freak. Bucks win 117-104. The Sixers are back at home Tuesday against Boston. During tonight's finale in Texas, Phillies manager Rob Thompson told ESPN that Bryce Harper could start taking swings on the field on Thursday. He's making great progress after Tommy John surgery, but the first few games have been a struggle for the Phils. Bailey Falter on the mound, Josh Young at the plate. While Trey Turner is giving a live interview from on the field, he gives that one a ride, and that is out as the Rangers take a 1-0 lead. The Phillies' lone run came right here on a double play. Josh Harrison grounds into one. The run scores. Phils went 1 of 8 with runners in scoring position. That is brutal. In the 5th, Marcus Semien singles to right. Mitch Garver, come on home. He scores. Semien's thrown out, but no matter. The Rangers got what they needed. The Phils fall 2-1. They head to the Bronx tomorrow to start a series with Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees. To hockey, Flyers just finishing out the slate. Only 6 games remaining in the season after tonight. Sam Ersson in net tonight against the Penguins. And it went like this. Ricard Raquel blasts one off the glass, then off the rear end of Ersson and in. You've heard of a butt fumble? This, a butt goal. 1-0 Pens. A few minutes later, it's Raquel again. So for good measure, he adds one. That's his second of the night. 2-0 Penguins. From offense to defense for Pittsburgh. Flyers, golden opportunity right here, but Casey DeSmith stones Travis Konechny. I'll take that. Penguins win 4-2. Flyers play in St. Louis on Tuesday. Dr. Jill Biden in the house for the women's national championship game between Iowa and LSU. Jasmine Carson of LSU goes off. 7 for 7, 21 points in the first half. She only had 11 points in the tournament total before today. Sharpshooter Caitlin Clark did all she could. She hit 8 3-pointers, dropped 30 points for Iowa, but LSU pulled away late. The Tigers setting a women's title game record, putting up 102. They win 102-85 over Iowa. It's the first championship for women's basketball in LSU history. Wings lacrosse on the CW taking on the Rochester Nighthawks. It goes to overtime in the extra session. Joe Resartis, excuse me. I'm still learning names. He wins it. That's a game winner in overtime, one of his 4 goals on the night. The Wings win 14-13. Tonight in the Sports Zone, we'll talk Phils with Paul Boyer of Phillies Therapy Podcast. Might need it after this weekend. And Mike Jensen from The Inquirer joins us to talk college hoops. We'll be right back.
And finally tonight, a beautiful sight in the water off Cape Cod. This is an endangered North Atlantic right whale and her calf. The video comes from a Massachusetts nonprofit dedicated to ocean research and education. The baby whale is one of just 12 calves identified this season, and there are only about 340 North Atlantic right whales left on the planet. Take a look at that. Well, that's it for us. Thanks for watching. We're always on at CBSPhiladelphia.com. Have a good night.